back and research them, but, and sometimes I do go back to listen to the audio, because sometimes I may have said something that was incorrect, or somebody maybe misunderstood, and so the audios are important to me. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Elections, you said there's 5 of you. Is it alternated? Somebody run each year, or is it all 5 at one time?
It's all 5 at one time every 2 years.
The whole board could change.
Yep, matter of fact, it has in the last 2 years.
That's automatically no continuity.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of reasons for that, but the entire board was a wholesale turnover in the last 2 years. At the beginning, when I was elected, we had 2 new members, and then over time, the remaining members, for one reason or another, either resigned or asked to be recalled, or, well, that's another subject in itself. But yes, this was a wholesale turnover, first time that I think it's ever been done. So maybe some people are not happy with what other board members are doing. I don't know what the reasons are.
Is that not something they should be looking at, is half of the board being done each year?
Well, it typically doesn't happen like that. This last 18 months has been very unusual. Typically, that board...
Well, the market values have been quite unusual.
That's a great point. Unfortunately, as a board member, the state property tax code prohibits we as board members from getting involved with individual appraisals. If we do that, we can be fined and subject to jail time. So we don't get involved in that, but we set the general parameters of what the attitudes should be, transparency things, staffing, budgets, salaries, those type of things, traditional things. We don't typically get into the weeds as much as a city council would, and I don't say that in a derogatory way. I just say it's just not set up like that. And our budget's quite large, but I guess 90-95% of our budget is for salaries. So you didn't ask that, but it was brought up earlier. I think you brought it up somebody brought it up, what the salaries were. Ours is quite heavy on, but we have a lot of,
The board get paid?
Pardon me?
Do you get paid?
No, sir.
Okay, so it's just...
I'm sorry.
Yes, you're talking about salaries for the CAD employees.
Yeah, for CAD employees, for staff.
Okay.
Yeah, the board doesn't get paid anything.
When do y'all elect someone to run out of the 5?
Yes, every January, we are required to elect somebody to be the chair and the secretary. And that vote comes every year in January. So there's nobody there forever, though there was previously, but that's, again, changing. So hopefully we'll continue to rotate that, which is an infusion for the chair and for different thoughts and that type of thing. But we still get, hopefully, continuity with some board members rolling over every 2 years.
And the money you said that was returned, is it split up equally among the entities, or is it?
Yes.
Some get more, some get less, or how?
Well, yes, some get more.
Percentage of what?
It's the same way that the votes are allocated based on your evaluations for your particular entity. So the fact that you've gone up from 3 to 5 means that you've grown somewhere in your evaluation. I don't know where they are, obviously. Well, your percentage of refund would go up if you had that percentage which equated to 3. Well, that percentage would now go up equivalent to 5. So yes, it's not equal. It's a formula pretty much established by the state.
Okay.
Well, what did we do to make our evaluation go up from 3 to 5?
I really don't know. I suspect that you've had some increase in residential and some increase in commercial. I don't know how much of that, but that's where I would point my finger. So you've had some growth in your city. To what degree, I don't know. And I don't know if your population's increased that much either.
No.
It hasn't. We're kind of landlocked, but we've had some vacant lots fill in, and we've had some tear downs, and we're having a lot of gentrification, and
Well, hopefully all that's been
And take a 300% property increase, value,
Yeah.
which is good until
Dad comes along. Well, now, I would have been the person to talk to in 2009 and 2015, because I was on the Tarrant Appraisal Review Board for 6 years, and that's where I can affect the values individually, legally. And we did a lot of that. We controlled a lot of that, and we were very concerned with the public's perception and the fact that we were servants to the public, and we made a lot of changes, but there's a lot of craziness going on right now as far as valuations. And take that out of the picture. I'm just talking about people are paying crazy amounts for, not so much in the commercial, that's dropped, but as it relates to residential, it's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's appreciated.
Yes, we had houses that would have been $50,000, $75,000 3-4 years ago, or $250 now.
And people are paying for it.
Yep,
They're doing it.
yep.
Yep.
All these people coming from California.
You didn't look at my resume very well. That's where I came from. Real cheap in this here. Any other questions?
No, sir.
No.
Well, I would appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
We do have,
I'm sorry.
Councilman Holland is online.
Okay.
And he has a question.
Yes, I was just looking at the votes from the different cities. Some of the cities have zero. Can you explain why that is?
No, I cannot. I do know that I have spoken to 1 or 2 of those cities, and they're asking that same question. The allocation is done by valuation, but I would think you still have some value. And how you have a 0 vote, I don't know. But they are asking that question, I think, of the appraisal district, and they're actually, I think, asking that same question in Austin as to how do we get to the 0. Some of them have had their votes taken away, and
Really?
I don't think that's a good thing.
Well, the value wouldn't be like the city of Dalworthing and Gardens. They've got some of the prime property in between, in Arlington, Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yeah, I don't
know how they do it.
I don't either, and that's not
Low population.
they're not asking me to do that as a board member, thank goodness, but that's governed at the state level, and it's just passed through. I'm sorry, anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay, that's a great question.
So what are we needing to do, Marvin? Are we needing?
We're nominating, or that's what is in the resolution to nominate Gary Lasada.
It's in the resolution.
So then we're looking for a motion.
Yes, and then what I'll do is I'll have it to the chief appraiser. I'll have to get you to come up here and sign it tomorrow so I can get it to him. Pronto.
There may be one other gentleman that wants to speak, I don't know.
Okay.
We heard from him, come on, I can't add
any more than Gary said, except maybe 1 or 2 things.
Well of you, Gary. Thank you.
Daniel Bennett, White Sullivan. One of the things that was passed was there is now, in these building agreements for attorneys, even though there's that 50,000 threshold, these building agreements are now brought to the board of directors. There was an attorney there, and I wish Ms. Elam had been the attorney at TAD, because she would be making $32,370 a month before the light came on, which I'm sure that would be more preferable than,
That's not what you make here.
because for $8. And so that's almost $4,000 a year, because there was also $200 per hour extra billing for things that weren't identified within the building agreement itself. Well, the board wasn't able to get a per hour billing arrangement with this attorney who's been there, but they are now billable. So anything that she does now is billable and it can be inspected by the public. I think that's really good transparency. And to answer your question about the audios, I just came from the city of Arlington. I won't bore you with this, but I'm going to give this to you. I go through 4 scenarios on this page. And everything I talk about on this page can be reviewed in the audio. I could give you the markers where it would not encompass most of your time, but one segment's over an hour long. And I'd like to read that one segment.